We're just getting set up on all the different platforms. All right, Facebook is now ready. Perfect. All right, we're gonna go live on Facebook and Instagram. Perfect. We are. Oh, perfect. We are live everywhere. Live on Instagram, live on Instagram, live on. Oh, that's a bit better. No, I'm not. Perfect. Just fixing my camera on Instagram. Lovely. Look, guys, it's going to be a good one today. I've got the Friday feeling. I hope you have too. Jade is gonna be she's slightly out of the camera, but Jade's gonna be joining from a distance today. She's busy doing her hair. Happy birthday to Jade's mum. So 60th on Monday. So kid. So yeah, we've got that Friday feeling. It's gonna be a good one today. We're going to be going a little bit off script. It's interesting. I've had a real interesting week, lots of interesting conversations, and we're going to open up the conversation to you guys, make it a bit more interactive. I love my Italian. It's info@magictreesuperfoods.co.uk. Jade is going to be intermittently in the chat, but yeah, info@magictreesuperfoods.co.uk, and you can get that. But yeah, lots of interesting conversations this week, and I'll bring you guys up to speed. But I want to open up a few interesting conversations. We're going to be talking about mystery illness today. Mystery illness. And I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain what I mean. I'm probably going to end up going on loads of different tangents. I haven't planned out today's session. I mean, I never really planned them out, but even less so today. We'll see where the conversation takes us. Hopefully, we'll get a nice interactive chat going across the different platforms. And it's going to be a good one today. I'm going to try and answer some questions in between as long as it doesn't take us too off topic. But I mean, on that note, Bin Gurdy, I don't know. What products do you have for men's health building nitric oxide? It's not really about men's health. The role of nitric oxide is to dilate blood vessels. So whether that's women, men, it's about getting blood. It's about circulating blood and oxygenating the system better. So the best things for that would be moringa seeds that I have in front of me, but moringa seeds would be fantastic for that. And then beetroot is another great option to stimulate that nitric oxide as well. Hey Claudine, thank you for opening up the comments on Facebook. Appreciate you. So yeah, we're live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. As I say, I don't know where we're going to go today, but it's going to be a good one. We're going to be talking about mystery illness. We're probably going to get into some big pharma. We're probably going to get into some autoimmune conditions. We're probably going to get into, I don't know where we're going to go. So it's going to be a good one. Lots and lots and lots of stuff to talk about. Um, so where should we start? As always, let's start with usually I look to Jade at this point and she'll tell me where we're starting. But yeah, we're going to be starting with housekeeping, what's new this week, what's been changing. I do kind of like the Monday, Friday format. I mean, Monday usually not much has happened because it's over the weekend. But on Friday, it gives us a nice chance to reflect on the week, bring you guys up to speed, let you guys know what's happening, bring you into our world. And this week's been a really, 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 really busy week. I feel like I say that every week, but this week more so. It was week 2 of the autism work that we've been doing. So we partnered with the CCNI faith-based community. Great turnout, over 100 people, over 100 parents with autistic children locked in, understanding the information, understanding the alternative courses. Really great Q&A session this week as well, and really got into the consultations, the one-to-ones, literally all week. So it's been really good to understand and really see how these autistic symptoms are developing in children and what the metabolic factors are. And you can really start to see, even in the 12 that we've done so far, you can already see the patterns that are reappearing, how that sickness is triggering the metabolic stress, which is causing the neurological symptoms, how we've started to see improvements, people that had already bought the herbs before even starting the program saying that they've seen improvements has been fantastic. And now we're really looking to unlock that next stage of growth in terms of what are those metabolic factors and how can we fix them. And it got me thinking. And just to say, guys, if you are interested in signing up to that group, then it's still open. It's still open for the next probably 2 weeks before we move on to the next month. It's a 3 month program. There's three consultations with me. We go through the full background. We identify what those metabolic stresses are. You get the full testing panel to do that and get the real result. We're not shooting in the dark. And then you get the handheld support to try and fix those metabolic issues as well as our autism kit. So it's a really full-on package, a fantastic community and program that CC and I have put together. So if you are interested in joining that, you can send us a message on the website, and just let us know, and we can point you in the right direction. Or you can check out the post from a couple of weeks ago and direct yourself from there. But yeah, let us know, and we'll be happy to get you into that program. I think it's fantastic. But it did also get me thinking, why is autism so, actually, just before I move on to that, other housekeeping points this week. I mean, that's pretty much taken up the whole week, but we have also we've switched up our consultation program as well, and we've changed how the subscriptions work. So probably more pertinent with the subscriptions now. We're rewarding you for committing to your health. So before it was just you could subscribe, and there would be maybe a 10% benefit that you could unlock after the fourth order. Not much incentive to subscribe, and didn't really tell you what you got. We've completely revamped that, so we've changed it. Now, when you subscribe, you get 30% off your first order, which I think is great. A great open way for you to access the herbs cheaper. But there is a 2 month minimum order on that. And the reason is because generally people lack patience, and that's what I've seen. People lack patience. They want results today, and we'll get into that when we're talking about big pharma versus natural solutions. But the reason why we wanted to switch it up and make it that way is that we do see much better results when people stick with the progress or stick with the process, and trust themselves and actually really commit to a healing lifestyle. Not just thinking the herbs are going to fix everything, but how are the herbs going to supplement all the work I'm doing elsewhere? And that doesn't really happen in a month. So that's why we've made it a 2 month program, where you get 30% off that first order, 10% off that second order. So you are still being supported through that process. And yes, that's the change. So if you go on the website and all the products now, you'll be able to get that, particularly for the healing kits, the ADHD and autism kit, the fibroid kit, all of these kits, and now you get them 30% off when you subscribe. So that's exciting, and I'd encourage you guys to take advantage of that. So that's been the main changes this week. So yeah, I was thinking about autism, and I was thinking, well, why is it that how is it that we've got 100, over 100 people from one community? This is like one church essentially that has 100 members of it that require support for their autistic children, and in some cases it's 2 children in one family, 3 children in one family. So how is it? Why is it this case? Why is this the case? Why are they all coming for this solution? And why is it that the support that we were able to provide is so groundbreaking for them? Their words, not mine. So, but why is that the case? And I think it's because autism is a very unique situation where you have, um, one, it's misframed as it's not bad, because it's you just say, well, autism is a gift and everyone's supposed to enjoy having autism. When there's parents with children smearing feces on themselves, non-verbal, so they can't communicate, banging their head against the bedboard and not going to sleep, waking up in the middle of the night hysterically laughing. These aren't, oh well, let's just embrace it as part of the autism spectrum. So you've got that part of it where you're told to just, it's not even an issue. You're being told it's not even an issue. And then you've got the other part of it where um, and then you've got the other part, which is there's no real medication or support. The only thing autistic children are given is antipsychotics and antidepressants for the most part. There'll be some exceptions to that rule, but that's generally the main course of medication. So there isn't really any support. And then there's no explanation of how it happens either. So, you have a child, and if they are heavily autistic, then they end up 18-year commitment, even longer in some cases, where you have to become a carer. You're told that's supposed to be fine. You're given no support. You're given no financial support. You're still expected to go to work. No one really has any sympathy for you. Um, that's the situation with autism. So I'm not saying that's every autistic child. I'm not saying every autistic child is a problem. I'm not saying that at all. But there are autistic children where parents are struggling. That's just a hard fact. So that's the situation for autism. This isn't an autism session today, but it does fall under the bucket of, well, is it a mystery illness? And that's what prompted today's session. Um, I mean, yeah, Claudine in the chats are saying I have two adults on the autistic spectrum, and one has epilepsy as well. What would you recommend? One is nonverbal, and the other has social communication difficulties. So yeah, without making this an autism session, Claudine, we do have an autism kit on the website, which is helpful for adults and children. So I'd recommend checking that out. We do also offer the full package, like I said, in partnership with CCNI with the consultation. So send us a message via the website, and we can point you in the direction of that link. But yeah, so um, and we're gonna end up. This is gonna end up being an autism session. I can just tell because the comment. But I want it to be interactive, so no problem. But um, a child. So I am eternally fee. A child with autism can be healed in 2 weeks if the household all influence and support the child with providing an all something and food diet. Smearing feces on the wall, a different spirit, not autism. Look, it's really interesting. I'll probably do another session about the alternative causes of autism in a separate live. But when you understand what autism is, all it really is neurological misfiring. Neurological misfiring, which can cause sensory overload, it can cause social anxiety, anything that stimulates the senses, you can have an off response essentially. So, smearing feces on the wall, that's emotional dysregulation, that's neurological dysregulation. It's not knowing what to do. That's what that is. So that's why it would be considered an autism symptom. Now, is autism is all encompassing thing where every single neurological divergent comes under the umbrella of autism? That's a separate question, and we'll get into that another time. But back to the point, it got me thinking. What is? I'm just going to caveat and say, yeah, Jade isn't with me today, so managing the chat might be a little bit more difficult. So if you're asking questions, bear with me, or if you think I've missed it, just pop it back in again because I'll try and keep to the latest in the chat. Trying to manage three different chat boxes, but yeah. So with autism, it's a mystery illness still. We've given it a name. We've given it a title. Yes, autism. You get a diagnosis. It takes years to get a diagnosis, but you get a diagnosis, and they say, "Yep, you've got autism," and then you're supposed to say, "Well, thank you very much. That's great. What am I supposed to do with that?" Yeah, there's not much. There's some support. There's some one-to-one education on the education side. I would say there is support, but in terms of what are we doing to actually heal the metabolic issues? What are we actually doing to repair the nerves, to repair the nervous system? Not much is done. So in that sense, it's a mystery illness where they say we don't know what's caused it. It's just 1,000 different genes that could contribute to the risk. They say we don't know what to do about it because there is no cure, there's no medication to really support in a meaningful way. So in that sense, to me, it's a mystery illness. We still very much do not understand what autism is, how it works, or how to fix it. And that got me thinking, what else is a mystery illness? Where can we really support people? The reason why we're able to help people with autism is because I think one thing we are, I'm not one to toot our own horn or anything, but I think we do have a really good grasp with the help of learning from other great contributors to the space as well. Yaki Awakened, the medical medium Anthony William popped to mind, lots of different books along the way. Combining that spiritual understanding and how that works into healing as well, the biology of belief. These are all great books. Arnold Ehret, the Mucusless Diet, all great books that have kind of formed the foundation of kind of what we do today. But I think we have a really good grasp of mystery illness and being able to help people with mystery illness. Um, I think it's because we are not classically trained. I didn't go to medical school. I did go to university. I did an economics degree, but I didn't go to medical school. I didn't. I wasn't. I mean, I don't. I use this word. I use this word, tenuously maybe, but I wasn't brainwashed. I'd say that I wasn't brainwashed by the institutions that make us think a certain way, make us feel a certain way, make us understand certain conditions a certain way. I didn't go through that process. And there's definitely benefits to being classically trained and understanding proper processes and things like that. And I've had to learn a lot of that along the way. But one benefit of that is, I hear rheumatoid arthritis for the first time, and I don't get brainwashed into thinking, yes, that's an incurable autoimmune condition. When I see it, it's, well, what's actually happening to the body here? What are the reasons this happens? I think interestingly, when you study economics, you understand that everything happens in an ecosystem. One thing doesn't work without the other. You don't have rogue agents that don't affect other things. Externalities is a really big concept in economics, positive and negative externalities, and understanding that everything will have positive and negative externalities. I mean, love my Italians. Just, yeah, I was in the medical field all my life, heavily indoctrinated, and it almost killed me. Been natural for 6 years, and it's not to say that, oh, well, going natural is going to heal you, or natural is always the best way, or never trust big pharma, because that's another. Anytime you're in the extremes of something, you're probably blind to the truth. Um, so for me, it's kind of understanding that everything is good and bad. Everything has good and bad. There's light and shade. It's about how are we using these tools. Some people will say, "Well, I just don't trust big pharma because they're evil," and then you might deny yourself a life-saving surgery. You get hit by a car and you need surgery to save your life. You're trusting big pharma. You're trusting those surgeons. I'm not saying that means you need to pop a paracetamol every time you get a slight headache, but it's understanding what are the costs and the benefits of different situations, and taking your bias away from things and just looking at the cold hard facts, looking at the research, and making a decision from there. And because of that approach, because of that background, I think that equips us to provide mystery illness solutions, autism included, autoimmune conditions included. Casey has been asking quite a few questions, so I'm just gonna. I think you asked about how do we clip up? How do you make a how do you make your AI visual clips for your TikToks? Casey, if you send me a DM, I can answer that. Probably not that relevant for this live, but yeah, yeah, I can explain that. If you don't send a DM on TikTok because we never see them. I'd say go to the website and send a message, and then we can do that. But yeah, and shout out to Holistic Abushi, just running up the likes. Love that. So yeah, what are we saying? So mystery illness. It is, and guys, feel free. As I said, I'm going off script today. Oh, okay, Casey, I got noted. I'll have the team look into that. Um, yeah, we're kind of going off script today. We're opening a galaxy. Very exciting. Thank you. So we're going off script today. Keep it interactive. If you have your own mystery illnesses as well, then let's share it. Let's talk about it. Let's understand what's going on, because there's also a lot of confusion around what mystery illness even means. Ellie. Okay, nah, thank you, Ellie. There's also a lot of confusion around what mystery illness even means, because as I kind of alluded to, a lot of people think, well, just because I've got a name for a condition, that means I now have a diagnosis. Sorry, that means now I have a cure. That means now I have a solution. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means some scientist has identified a pattern of symptoms, or some gene that's present or something like that, and then they have essentially put their name to a condition, and then they've called it a syndrome, they've called it a disorder, they've called it whatever the case may be in some cases, and that's now what it is without any idea on how to heal it. Now, what we do, which is separate to that, is listen to your symptoms. And I think that is probably when people say I don't trust the medical system or I've been ignored by the medical system, I think that's probably what, in most cases, they're referring to. Your symptoms aren't listened to. Um, you know, you're being ignored. You're being told that's not what's happening. You're being fobbed off. We don't do that. We understand that you are the best barometer of what is going on inside your body. Maybe you don't always have the words to explain it in the best way. Maybe, memories can be skewed and things like that. But ultimately, you are always going to be the best source of that information. So just a comment from I Am Eternally. So it is very important that people level up on consciousness because it is life or death. It's a life or death matter. Illnesses are attacks to protecting your vessel, mind, body, and soul is key. It's interesting. I talk about that a lot in terms of our bodies are under attack spiritually, physically, virally, bacterially. We're under attack on a daily basis. And, people like to stick to one thing where they'll say, well, science only believes in the bacteria and the pathogens, so we need to protect ourselves from that. Then you'll get the conscious people who will say, well, we need to protect our spiritual health, and that's all that's important. But actually, it's all important. You can be attacked from any angle. The spiritual attack from the media that you're being forced to consume, the medical attack from the food that is being put on the shelves in front of you, or should I say the toxin attack. Then you've got the chemical attack that's being put on you with a lot of the pharmaceutical medications as well. So then you've got the heavy metals attack. That's just you go on the train and that's the equivalent to smoking a cigarette. Literally, it's the equivalent to smoking a cigarette, the underground. So chemtrails, another one. So it's like, yes, we are under attack, and you know, it's not to say that we need to turn ourselves into radicalized missionaries and all we care about is, defending ourselves from the attack. Of course, it's important, but living life is also important too. It's all about the balance. So that's why, when people ask me, oh, do I need to stop eating eggs? Oh, do I need to stop doing this or that? And it's like, that's not for me to say. Who am I to tell you to stop doing anything? That's not my job, and no one should be able to tell you. No one should command you to stop or start doing anything. You know, it's for me to say I can give you the information, I can share the knowledge to the best of my ability. I can tell you, well, if you eat this food, this is what's likely to happen. I can tell you if you eat dairy, the pH of that food is going to, wreck your stomach acid, wreck your small intestine, and ruin your large intestine. I can tell you that information. I can tell you if you should walk you should or you could walk after you eat a meal to oxygenate your digestion process so you don't get a whole load of toxic byproducts. I can tell you that. Um, I can tell you if you're dealing with, someone said FND, so you've got neurological disorders. I can tell you Brahmi and Lion's mainly your best options, but I can't tell you you have to do it. I can't tell you you can't drink coffee anymore, even though that's the reason why you probably developed the FND in the first place. I can't tell you that. That's up to you. And that's where, we have to start to take ownership of our health. We have to start to take ownership of our lives. We're too reliant on waiting for the news to tell us what to be scared of. We're too reliant on the FDA telling us what drugs we should be using. We're too reliant on the food agencies telling us what food is safe. We're too reliant on, a movie rating agency telling us what information is safe for our children to consume. Why are we relying on all of these different agencies who are just a collection of people telling us what we can and can't do? You know, of course, we need to be guided by our own morality. We should be doing the best we can. We should be trying to spread love and good into the world. Yes, but that's not about someone telling us to do that. That's just vibrating on the highest frequency we can. We're going on a bit of a tangent here, but that's why I can't tell you what to do. I can give you the information, and you can make the best decision for yourself, and that's really what it's about. So, um, look, we'll bring it back to the health. We'll bring it back to the health, but it's really important. It's really important, and that's really that's the governing principle that guides our process. You know, we understand and we accept you are an individual. We understand that you are a complex individual with competing priorities, with vices, with needs, and that's fine. That makes you human. Doesn't make you bad, doesn't make you destined to be sick, doesn't mean you deserved your sickness. Okay, you smoked for 20 years and now you've got COPD. Doesn't mean that you don't have a right to heal. It doesn't mean you don't deserve to heal. It doesn't mean you deserve to be chronically sick for the rest of your life. But unfortunately, the way that we are kind of tuned now, the way that what they tell us, what they try to make us believe is that, well, you smoked for 20 years, that's entirely your fault, you don't deserve healing. You determine whether you deserve to heal. No one else can tell you whether you deserve to heal. No one else can tell you whether you deserve that love in your life. No one else can tell you whether you deserve to give love in your life. These are all things that you control, that we've been brainwashed into losing that agency over. So I'm going to try and bring this back to mystery illness, because that's just a whole separate topic that I'm really passionate about. But when it comes to mystery illness, that whole point about them telling us what we can and can't do, what is possible, what is achievable. The reason why most people don't heal from autoimmune conditions is because we're brainwashed into thinking we can't heal. The body, this is from the Biology of Belief, a great book. Your cells inside your body, your white blood cells, your cells listen to your thoughts. They react to your thoughts. There's a real chemical reaction. When you think something, your brain responds. It's like you're the manager of your body. You don't do all the work, but you tell your team what to do. So if you're telling your team, so imagine going into the office and you've got let's say you've got a report to write, you've got to do your project, and your manager keeps telling you this report cannot be written. You will not meet this deadline. You cannot meet this. It's impossible for you to write this report. There's nothing you can do to write this report. What do you think is going to happen? Is that report going to get written? Is that deadline going to be met? Very unlikely, because all you're being told is that it can't be done. Now, imagine your boss said, look, this report can be done, you can do it, you are good enough to write this report, there is the information out there to go and write the report, you just need to commit to do it, you just need to be determined, you just need to have some self-belief, it's 100% possible. You know, completely remove whether the report is possible to write or not. If you just take those two situations, which one do you think is more likely to get that report written? Who is better set up to get that report written? Of course, it's going to be the person who's being encouraged and told it's possible, and given the support to believe. So when you're telling your body, when you're telling your body, well, you can't heal, I can't heal. I've got this incurable condition that cannot be healed. I've got rheumatoid arthritis, it can't be healed. I've got thyroiditis, it can't be healed. I need the levothyroxine to heal, even though there's lots of other things that can actually replace that, or stimulate your iodine to restore that thyroid. And that's where I come in, because I can give you the information and say, well, it's actually the Epstein-Barr virus that is damaging your thyroid. So if you go after the Epstein-Barr virus, you take away the actual trigger, and then you actually have the tools to heal. Now, why has it been uncurable before? Because they've been going after the wrong thing this whole time. The studies show Epstein-Barr virus is present with the thyroid. I'm not making stuff up. I'm not claiming to have all this knowledge that science hasn't even done yet. This is just, they haven't linked it. They haven't linked it. Why are we able to produce results? Why are we able to get people off thyroid medication? Why are we able to bring Hashimoto's into remission? And I say that loosely because it's not, we are not doing anything. We give you the information, we give you the tools, we give you the herbs to be able to do it. But we aren't doing anything. We're just changing your mindset. We're just changing your ability to operate. We're changing your leadership structure. We're putting a whole new leadership team into your body. So instead of saying this thing cannot be cured, you've got a whole new CEO who is saying, yes, we can achieve this. This can be done, and this is how we're going to do it. We give you the plan. That's what we do. And then your body can go and do it, because your body can do anything. There's, this isn't even us doing this. This is, you read books, you'll hear testimonies of people saying they had stage 4 cancer, they were in a coma, and they woke up without the cancer. And it's like, medical science would say that's impossible. It happens. It happened. It's not impossible because it happened. That's not me claiming to have done that. I'm not saying our herbs cure cancer. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying this happens. So clearly it's possible. So if it's possible for one person, it must be possible for something else, for someone else. It's not one time. It's not they had this super rare genetic code that allowed them to beat the situation. It's not that. They put their body in a condition where it could undo the damage that had been done. You know, um, of course, in 99% of cases, the chronic health issues, the chronic mystery health issues, um, you're not born with them. The chronic ones, and you're not born with them. Yes, of course, there are some conditions people are born with, type 1 diabetes, sure, but no one is born with type 2 diabetes. So if you're not born with type 2 diabetes, that means you must do something to develop type 2 diabetes. But then they tell you, well, type 2 diabetes is irreversible. But then I've spoken to probably over 100 people that have reversed their type 2 diabetes. So which one's true? I'm not lying to you, so you could believe I'm a liar, or it is reversible. Or they'll use subjective terms like into remission. They'll use subjective terms like under control. They'll use these terms. I don't know what the difference is. If someone's type 2 diabetes and then they bring it back into, you're no longer in a diabetic state and you're no longer symptomatic and you don't have the neuropathy and your insulin levels are fine, I don't understand. Maybe that's my ignorance. I don't understand what the difference between someone who was there and is now back here in remission and someone who was just never there. I don't get it. But yeah, seeing a couple of questions coming about chronic fatigue, another mystery condition, CFE, ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, another mystery illness. We know what it is. We know what it looks like. You struggle to get out of bed. You've got no energy. Chronic anxiety was another question. So we know what it looks like, but when it comes to medication, well, there's no medication, there's no cure, there's no explanation. So where's it come from? Now, again, chronic fatigue syndrome can have many different causes. It could be nutrient based, it could be viral based, it could be adrenal fatigue, lots of different things. Now, because we understand that, I can ask the questions to be able to filter and make what the most likely guess is. Then, with that most likely guess, we can put the protocol in place and refine from there. So, one second. So yeah, so I was just trying to get Ellie. Sorry, I was just trying to get your name. So yeah, with Ellie, mornings are super difficult for me. Super tired. Well, with the thyroid issue as well. You're probably adrenal fatigued. Now, how can I guess that? How can I put that mystery illness together? It's because, well, if you have a thyroid issue, the thyroid works in tandem with the adrenals. If your levothyroxine isn't that effective, then you probably have adrenal fatigue. If you drink coffee, if you drink matcha, if you drink green tea, if you drink black tea on a daily basis, which most people do, I'm not saying that applies to you, it's probably going to make your adrenal fatigue worse. If you're going through a stressful life event, which most of us do at some point, it's probably going to make your adrenal fatigue worse. So first step would be, let's focus on the adrenals. Let's use ashwagandha. Let's use CMOS if you also have a thyroid issue. And then we can refine from there. And if that's not working, it'll be a different thing again. Love My Italian, POTS, that's an Epstein-Barr issue. So actually we wanted to use an antiviral protocol. So, that's, Missy. And now we're getting all the mystery issues come through. So Missy, I've got fibromyalgia, hypothyroidism, so my fatigue is double. Um, you know, we will make, I'm trying to figure out how to make this kit. Obviously, there's so many different autoimmune conditions that I do want to just make an autoimmune kit. I'm not sure quite how to make it so that we can cover different symptoms. But yeah, Missy, if you've got those, then really what you'd want to be on is definitely spirulina, because we need to collate the heavy metals. Definitely oil of oregano, definitely black seed oil, because we need to go after the underlying Epstein-Barr virus. Definitely CMOS to get the zinc and the iodine to support your thyroid and also go after the virus as well. And then probably some ashwagandha to help your energy levels and to also support your thyroid. So 5 herbs, and that will most likely help. I'm not saying it's going to reverse your condition overnight, but it's going to help most likely. So yeah, when it comes to the mystery illnesses, it's about not being intimidated by what they tell us about them and actually looking at what's going on. When we reduce things down to, well, that's just that virus, that's just that bacteria, and that system's a bit fatigued, it makes the healing process so much more straightforward, and it makes things so much simpler. And it also gives us the guidebook and the textbook to understand, well, if we've done this for a month and we're seeing no improvements, or things have gotten worse, or things have only gotten slightly better, or things have gotten fantastically better, then we can use all of those scenarios to inform the next step of the protocol. So again, I don't say that we're able to do this in a month's time. I don't say we're able to do this in a week's time. Sometimes it does take months. Sometimes it does take 6 months. Sometimes you have to take 3 steps backwards before you move forwards. But when you do things in a safe, structured, processed way, what have you got to lose? Because right now, there's no cure for the fibromyalgia. You might be given some immunosuppressants, and that's going to mean you're going to have a hip replacement. It means you're going to have a knee replacement in 20 years' time. So what have you actually got to lose? And to be honest, you can even do our protocols alongside the immunosuppressants most of the time. Yes, they do kind of go against each other to some extent, depending what the condition is, depending what the type of immunosuppressant is. A lot of people actually misunderstand immunosuppressants. In truth, they're probably misnamed immunosuppressants because they don't suppress your immune system. They re-regulate it because you've usually got an underlying cortisol issue, which is dysregulating your immune system, causing it to overfire. What the immunosuppressant does is re-regulate. So that would be a better name for it. So they're not all bad. But if you've got a steroid immunosuppressant, it is wearing away your joints, it is wearing away your bones. But there's quite a lot of nuance there. So yeah, Missy, it was the ashwagandha, oil of oregano, sea moss, black seed oil, and spirulina is what I would have recommended there. So guys, let's move it on to the 3 biggest mistakes I see. And blueberries would be great as well. So I've been waiting about, how long have we been on for? 36 minutes to eat that blueberry. So 3 biggest mistakes. What? Oh, strange. And I've kind of already said them, so I'll refine it to the 3 biggest mistakes. So mistake number 1, it's allowing yourselves to become a victim of all the different diagnoses. Definitely, the amount of times I speak to people. And when I hear this, it actually crushes me, because if you understood what was actually going on, you'd understand that the reason you are struggling to heal is because of your mindset that is keeping you stuck where you are. That's not your fault. It's what they've been telling you. But when I speak to people and they say, I've got high blood pressure, I've got diabetes, I've got high cholesterol, I've got a thyroid issue, I've got a sluggish liver, and maybe I've got menopausal as well, and I've got swollen lymph nodes and edema, whatever the case may be. But they reel off 7 or 8 different conditions, and then the line that crushes me is when they say, "So I'm probably past saving," or "You probably never heard this before. I'm too far gone," and it's like, 1, you're never too far gone. That's the first thing to say. You're never too far gone. 2, you're always worth saving. You're always worth saving, no matter where you are. And 3, when you reduce those 8 different diagnoses down, you've only actually got 2 or 3 issues. You've probably only got an EBV issue. You've probably just got a cholesterol issue. So too much fat in the system generally. And it doesn't mean you have to be overweight for that. It could be internal fat as well. And then you've probably got some adrenal fatigue. You're probably drinking a bit too much coffee. You're probably, that's probably the issue. So if I told, you've been given 8 different diagnoses. If I told you, well, you just need to bring your fat down, you just need to go after the Epstein-Barr virus and support your adrenals by laying off the coffee, and then probably just incorporate some green vegetables and some root vegetables, and then add some herbs, you'd probably say, oh, actually, that's very doable. I can do that from next week. And then I told you, well, yeah, within 6 weeks, you'll start to see the benefits, and then we'll just continue improving the protocol from there, make step-by-step adjustments. You'd say, wow, 6 weeks. I've been struggling with this for decades. Doctors told me I can't be saved. Doctors told me I need, and the worst thing is, for each of those 8 different diagnoses, you get Casey, will do. Appreciate you joining. When you get 8 different diagnoses, you get 8 different medications. You get a medication for the high blood pressure, a medication for the diabetes, a medication for the cholesterol. And sometimes you'll start off with one, then let's take start off with some high blood pressure, for example. Then you get given statins to bring your blood pressure down. And then what's the side effect of statins? Well, diabetes. Okay, well then you get on diabetes medications, you get put on the metformin, and now because metformin doesn't do anything to cure diabetes, and they tell you to go on the keto diet, so you eat even more fat, then you start to get more adrenal fatigue, and then you're like, wait, I'm adrenally fatigued. Now I've got chronic fatigue syndrome. They give you that diagnosis out of nowhere just because your cortisol is low, and you're like, oh wow, now I've got chronic fatigue syndrome. Now I've even got the energy to get up and do anything, and then you get depressed because you're not doing anything, and then they give you antidepressants. So you started off with high blood pressure, which is something that can be reversed literally within, depends where you are, but literally within 4 weeks, you can literally use walnuts to reverse high blood pressure. You just need to tweak your diet. That's all you need to do to reverse high blood pressure, unless there's something else underlying which is driving it up. But in most cases, that's you just need to switch your diet up and you'll be able to bring your blood pressure down. But because they skip that step and they just say, here, take some high blood pressure medication, you've ended up with diabetes, high blood pressure, depression, chronic fatigue syndrome, and probably high cholesterol in the process because now you're junk eating because you're depressed. 5 incurable conditions they've put on you because you had some high blood pressure. That's what I see all too often, and that really is what hurts my heart. And that's why when people are anti-big pharma, it's not about being anti-big pharma. It's about having the information and tools to have that early intervention. You know, if you're going to continue to eat the same things, well then yeah, those statins now become relevant because you're not taking it into your own hands to actually reverse that condition. So now you need the statins. And then now, if you're taking the statins, well, now you have the diabetes. You're not doing anything to stop the diabetes. So yes, now you need to take the metformin, and so it's not their fault. It's yes, they are brainwashed us. That's part of it. But we also have the tools. If you go on Instagram, you get into that health rabbit hole. There's 1,000,001 videos telling you things you can do to bring your blood pressure down. 1,000,001 videos telling you things you can do to bring your cholesterol down. 1,000,001. So we can't blame big pharma for not having the information anymore. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, no internet, no, all we have is TV advertising. Sure, we can blame them. We can blame the media outlets. Now we can't. We've got platforms like this. We've got platforms like Yaki Awakened. We've got platforms like the Medical Medium. We've got Andrew Huberman. So many different people, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So many different people contributing to this space who are giving you the tools. So we can't blame Big Pharma anymore. We need Ellie. That's it. The information is there now. I'm just one of many, which is great. You don't need to use our solutions. There's lots of solutions out there. But yeah, there was a load of questions that came through. So NG Digital, my blood pressure is 170 over 120. In that situation, yes. What's the reason? The question number one is, do you have high cholesterol? Are you overweight? What is your diet? Now, if you're telling me that normal weight, you're not that stressed, you eat a healthy diet, you eat a low fat diet, you eat a low fat, low sugar, gluten free, dairy free diet, and you're telling me that's your blood pressure, then yeah, maybe some high blood pressure medication is necessary because we don't want you falling into fatality risk. Now, what the misunderstanding is, the high blood pressure medication isn't going to reverse your blood pressure. We still need to investigate what that root cause is. Maybe you're magnesium deficient. Maybe you're adrenally fatigued. Maybe your cortisol is going haywire. But we need to investigate that. So the simple answer might just be change the diet. If you've done that already and you're still in the same situation, we need to dig deeper. It's not we just need to use the medication. So, hopefully that's kind of put a bit of a framework. If you're like, I've tried everything and I've got nowhere to go, then book a consultation. If you're like, well, I haven't really tried too much, then you want to switch to a low fat, low sugar, dairy free, gluten free diet. And if you're doing all of those things, and no processed food, it's pretty hard to eat unhealthily. There's foods that are very good, flax seeds, chia seeds, Brazil nuts, but yeah, there's some nuance in there. Pomegranates as well. What causes fatty liver and the cure? So fatty liver. Yeah, I'll give you the full answer. So would you call that a mystery illness? Maybe not, because I mean, I guess we assume it's probably it's a mystery illness in the sense that we say fatty liver and everyone assumes, but it's because you're eating too much fat. Now that's not the case. That might not be the case. So it's a mystery in that sense, because someone can eat healthily and actually develop fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver. Or we say it's because you drink too much alcohol. So why is it? Well, actually, if your liver is burdened with heavy metals, if your liver is burdened with Epstein-Barr virus, if your liver is burdened with streptococcus, then it can't do its job properly. If your bile is weak, or from a burdened liver, then it can't do its job properly. So even if you're eating normal levels of fat, even if you're just eating nuts and avocado, that's still fat. Now your liver can't process that and break it down. It doesn't produce the bile to break it down. So over time, you can still go on to develop fatty liver. That can happen. So again, this is why it's so important, and this is why the consultation is so important, because we do have a liver cleanse kit, and our kits comprehensively go after the most common issues, the most common causes. So as I said, bile, viral load, and that's what our liver cleanse kit does, and that's available on TikTok shops, available on the website. Anyone can get that. But if you're thinking to yourself, this is where the word mystery comes in. If you're thinking to yourself, hang on, I don't even drink. I eat a healthy diet. I've never really binged. I don't eat sweets. I don't eat cake. So how on earth have I got fatty liver? That's where the consultation comes in, because what we're good at is asking you the questions and connecting the dots you probably didn't even connect or think about. And that's really the process. So the kit's the one level. The autism kit can unlock a level of success. The liver cleanse kit can do a level of success. The thyroid kit, the same. But it's really when we can tie together the full symptoms and bring it into the package and understand what metabolic deficiencies you might have, understand what your environmental exposures are. That's where we can really unlock that next stage of progress and really drive the results. And that's really why we transitioned our consultation program to a 3-month process, to be able to help as many people as possible, in a structured way. Oops. So, Sobia, tonsil infection constantly in a child, what can be used or done? What they will tell you is to get a tonsillectomy. And I try to avoid that at all costs, because your tonsils are a massive part of your lymphatic system. We don't just want to be cutting out our tonsils willy-nilly. We don't want to be cutting out our adenoids willy-nilly. Sometimes it is necessary, sometimes. So black seed oil would be the first point of call. An oral oil of oregano might be a useful measure as well. Going to a sleep therapist to actually be able to stop mouth breathing, so you're not just breathing in all the toxins that are directly attacking the tonsils as well. All of these things can help. So, I wouldn't say persistent tonsil infections in children is where I've got the most experience, because typically parents will come to me after they've had the tonsillectomy. I think the idea of keeping our tonsils, keeping our appendix, keeping our organs basically is quite new actually. It's quite new. So, but yeah, you want to use your antibacterials, you want to use your antivirals. So yeah, oral oil of oregano, black seed oil would be my first point of call. You can also use things like astragalus, which is new on the website. Got that one in front of me as well. This is fantastic for children, and it's fantastic for regulating the immune system. Still got that earthy smell as well. I love it. So yeah, mouth tape, Love My Italian, great suggestion as well. So yeah. Okay, do we have? I think I might have seen another question coming on Instagram. So still, right. So, all right. It's a lot, but you can do it. Minerals. Oh, okay, nice. Just love my Italian, spreading that love in the chat. Love to see it. I do love the community we've built here. I really do, because it's not even me all the time asking suggestions, and sometimes people say stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. So yeah, the more everyone contributes, the more people we can help to heal, and the better we can be. So I need to check that. Yeah, because there's whole conversations going on in the chat, and I can't keep up with it. But yeah, feel free to keep going. All right. Can one get EBV? So this is a good question, Missy, because we can't talk about mystery illness without talking about EBV. So can one get EBV or strep? I think that's supposed to say from your partner if they aren't eating healthy. So if I say this fact, it will answer your question. Um, well, I guess it will definitely answer your question. But the way EBV spreads, they call it kissing disease. It's glandular fever, mononucleosis. This is all the classic interpretation of EBV, Epstein-Barr virus. So the way you catch Epstein-Barr virus is it's in your blood or in your bone marrow, in your organs. It will leave. It will make a beeline to your mouth. Then it will go to your epithelial cells in your mouth. And when it wants to infect someone new, it's waiting for you to kiss someone, and then it will just go into their mouth, go through their epithelial cells, and go right back into their blood, white blood cells, bone marrow, liver, and all of the above. So that's why, when people get sick at university during Freshers Week, when they're kissing everyone, it's the Epstein-Barr virus running wild. That's why 94% of the population, I think it's 93%, have Epstein-Barr virus. So, can you catch Epstein-Barr virus from your partner? Well, unless you don't kiss them, touch them, or do anything with them, then you will. You're almost guaranteed to. Because as soon as the Epstein-Barr virus has an activation window, if you kiss them in that activation window, you're going to get the virus. Most of us have it already. So it's not about, having the virus or not having the virus. Even 60% of us have HSV, which is the herpetic virus everyone's most concerned about. It's less about having the virus or not having the virus because most of us have the virus asymptomatically. It's about knocking the virus down. It's about making sure your immune system is well equipped. Charlie, please, Jay. It's about making sure your immune system is well equipped to fight the virus because that fight is coming. And we touched on this, at the start of the session. You're at war. You're at war. So it's not a question of, well, how can we stop people trying to invade us? That's not the question. You can't control that. We can only control what we can control. So we can't put ourselves in a padded room, not leave the house, and not expose ourselves to any pathogens or toxins. That would defeat the whole point of living life. That's not the question. It's how do we knock down the virus and defend ourselves properly? You can't. That's like saying, well, how do we stop someone from attacking us walking down the street? You can't. You can't do that. What you can do is make sure you can defend yourself. What you can do is walk with some pepper spray. What you can do is learn a martial art. That's what you can do. So it's the same thing here. It's not about how do we stop the virus from attacking us. It's how do we knock down the virus, and that is where the anti-herpes kit comes up trumps. That's why we developed the kit to systematically knock down the virus. It has the black seed oil, which stops the virus from being able to replicate. It has the licorice root, which goes around which forms a ring around the virus. It basically acts as glue, stopping the virus from being able to move around. That's why we have the CMOS in there. The zinc and the iodine work in tandem. The zinc is a catalyst for the iodine to be able to kill the Epstein-Barr virus, particularly in the thyroid. That's why we have the oil of oregano as a topical treatment, so that you can actually apply it directly to the site of action. That's why. So we give you the tools. That's why. So Eddie's asked about the medical medium books. Yeah, I recommend everyone to read the medical medium books. There's nothing I've read in the medical medium books that can be proven as untrue, as much as critics would like to say that. I'm already single now, so moving to a monastery. And that's why I say, 94% of us already have the virus. So it's not a case of, oh, well, I can't do anything because I'm scared of catching the virus. I mean, chances are you probably have it. I'm not here to scare you, but the Epstein-Barr virus is also highly equipped at evading tests. If it's hiding inside an organ, if it's hiding inside your brain, inside your liver, inside your thyroid, if it's molecular mimicking another cell inside your body, if it is inside a B cell, inside your white blood cells, if it evades the testing sample, you're not going to show up positive. You're not going to show up positive. So, just because you even show up negative for half of these tests, it doesn't mean you don't have it. And the strep is similar. A lot of people think, well, I had strep throat as a kid and I don't have strep anymore. It's the same strep throat as a kid that wreaks havoc up and down your digestive tract. That same strep throat you had as a kid that turns itself into Crohn's, turns itself into IBS, turns itself into acid reflux, turns itself into, all of these things. All of these things. So, you can't be scared of these viruses. We need to respect them. We need to not take them for granted. We need to understand that, they have the ability to take us down, but we can't be scared of the viruses. And that's probably mistake number two, being scared of the viruses. Yes, we will have them. Yes, we will knock them down. We need to stop stigmatizing the viruses. And that's why I talk about HSV so much. Because everyone's like, oh, herpes, herpes, herpes. They don't even realize there's 8 different well, more than 8, but the eight main different strain of herpes viruses. And we get so bogged down on, oh, well, we need to go after herpes, we need to go after HSV. And it's like we stigmatize hate. We don't even need to go after it. We need to stigmatize it and shame people who have it, and make out like it's this life-threatening thing. And it's like you've literally got another herpetic virus that is life-threatening, that does form itself into cancers, that does cause autoimmune conditions, that does stop people from being able to get out of bed. All of these things, and we completely gloss over that and focus on the HSV. And to me, it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. We've fooled ourselves into thinking, well, I can't see it, so it's not a problem. We can't see any of these viruses. We can see eczema, can't we? We can see eczema. Well, eczema is Epstein-Barr virus. So we don't shame eczema. We don't get scared about. You'd kiss someone with eczema, wouldn't you? You wouldn't concern yourself about kissing someone with eczema. It's the same Epstein-Barr virus. But if someone has herpes, you'd be like, oh well, I can't go near them. I can't touch them. I can't kiss them. And it's like, hang on, how does that make any sense? So when you break it down, and that's where moving away from and not being institutionalized and not being indoctrinated in how they want you to think, I think is of great merit, because you can actually see things for what they are. You can understand a virus is a virus. Why would it make sense to stigmatize one virus but have great sympathy when someone catches another virus? Why would we completely ignore the mortality rate when looking at one virus and comparing it to another virus? It doesn't make sense. So, I think that kind of covers the biggest mistakes. I think it does. We've been on for an hour. I've tried to answer some questions. If anyone does have any other questions, I'll open it up into a more kind of formal, not more formal, a more focused is the word I'm trying to say. Q&A session. So I'll probably do 5 or 6 questions before we head off for the weekend. So Misty has asked, and if you've asked a question, I just haven't seen it, then please let me know. Because as I say, I've been kind of trying to look at the chat, and I've seen some questions on Facebook, which I'll get back to as well, Sharon. So, do you do testing at your practice, e.g. cortisol saliva test for estrogen? So, Missy, we don't have a practice. We don't. We do everything online because it helps us to reach a worldwide audience, a global audience. You know, you can do testing anywhere. You don't need us to do testing. We interpret results. That's what we do. You send us the test results. We interpret that alongside your lived symptoms, and that's how we determine what your underlying pathogens are. The truth is, testing is very imperfect. Testing is very, very, very imperfect, particularly when it comes to mystery illness. Particularly, we can use the testing to determine underlying issues, but very rarely does that actually point to the root cause of the issue. That's why we don't really bother with testing. Yes, if you've got hormonal imbalances, then testing can be quite useful, but it's not going to change what we're going to say. You know, if you have low estrogen, low progesterone, high progesterone, whatever the case may be, the answer is going to be Dong Quai. Why? Because herbs are adaptive. Herbs don't just raise testosterone; they don't lower testosterone; they correct. So if you have a hormonal issue, then it's going to be Dong Quai and raspberry leaf, because raspberry leaf gets rid of the exogenous hormones that are skewing your hormones, and the Dong Quai helps to regulate your internal hormones. So that's why the testing isn't that relevant. If you show up for, well, you've got this virus, that virus, this virus, well, the answer is going to be black seed oil and oil of oregano. Now, why is that? Because they are the best ones for you. Google black seed oil versus insert virus here, and you will see that it's going to say black seed oil is effective, because it is effective against the E. coli, the strep, the EBV, the HSV, the HHV, the Staphylococcus, if I didn't say it. So, it's going to help all of them. And this is another misconception. So, Ellie, Dong Quai for men with low testosterone. Yes, Dong Quai is great for men too. There's not many herbs. There's this thing where, well, Shilajit is for men, Dong Quai is for women, Black Cohosh is for women, Red Clover is for women, Ashwagandha is for men. That's not true. That's not true. There's actually no herb I've actually ever come across which is only good for one gender. I'm looking at Jade, expecting her to challenge me, but Jade looks back at me blankly. I don't actually think there is a herb that I've come across which is only good for one gender. That is narrative and marketing because herbs don't boost testosterone. They correct the stress hormones to be able to regulate your hormones. They will boost luteinizing hormones, which is a precursor for regular hormonal production. They will, remove the blockers that are causing hormonal disruption. But or they will enhance the mitochondrial efficiency to be able to produce hormones efficiently. They will reduce external hormones, but there's nothing that just says, well, testosterone is going to boost. Sorry, there's no herb that just, even if you look at something extreme like Tonkat Ali, it's still good for women because it doesn't boost testosterone. That's not what it does. Of course, you can overdo these herbs and you can use herbs incorrectly, just like anything else. But there's no herb that is good for women and bad for men. And if anyone is aware of one, I might have slipped. One might be slipping my memory. So if anyone is aware of one, let me know and I'll challenge it. But yeah, and Ellie, you don't need one of everything. You probably don't need one of everything as well. That's the other thing where we say, oh well, this is good for that, and that's good for this, and this is good for that. So you need all of them. Generally, not. Most of the time, less is more. Now we can build up and stack supplement routines and processes to help and do that. But when you just say, well, here's one of everything, see how you get on, that's lazy, in my opinion. I don't actually recommend that. So rather than doing that, I'd actually recommend a consultation. Book a consultation. We can actually go through, understand what is the cause and what is the effect. You don't really want to be supplementing effects. You want to be herbally supplementing causes. You want to do as much as you can through food. A lot of the time, you're buying a supplement. Some of the stupidest supplements, and I know it sounds bad, but some of the stupidest supplements that I see. Oh, okay. But no, Ellie, I mean, you said that. I'm not saying. I mean, I read that as given, but people do say that, and people do come to us and they're like, "Oh, I just need one of everything because I'm too far gone." So that's why I say that. But some of the people are buying supplements like turmeric supplements. People are buying beetroot supplements. People are buying garlic supplements. I'm like, why on earth are you spending £20 a month to buy a garlic supplement? Why on earth are you spending £20 a month to buy beetroot? Why are you spending £20 a month to buy turmeric? Like, you can take any meal. I dare you to challenge any cooked meal that you can't just add a teaspoon of turmeric and black pepper to, which is more effective than the supplement. Because again, this is another thing that big pharma and the studies do. They'll say, well, curcumin is the active ingredient in turmeric. So it's the curcumin that you need. Okay. What about everything else in turmeric that activates the curcumin? What about the black pepper? So you don't need it. You just teaspoon of turmeric, whole root turmeric. Doesn't even need to be the fresh root. It could just be the dried turmeric. You put it in your soup, you put it on your eggs, you put it on, well, I know a lot of you eat eggs. I don't recommend eggs in most cases, but I say that because everyone eats eggs. But you put it on whatever you want. And it's gonna, even tea, it's gonna work. You put some black pepper in there, it's fine. It doesn't ruin your meal, it doesn't ruin anything. One hack, and it's slightly off topic again, but another thing where we get another thing where I got so sidetracked and you kind of become a slave to the system. Like if I'm eating, I don't know, grains and salmon or something like that, I used to think, well, this needs sauce, this needs gravy, this needs something, this needs some moisture. And then I realized actually, if I cut up a grape into quarters, I cut up some tomatoes into quarters, and I just mix that into the grains and the salmon. I've got sauce, and there's no preservatives, and there's no sugar.
You've got moisture, not sauce, but here you
No,
go.
it serves the exact same function because when you bite into the grape, what comes out?
Moisture.
Moisture. So I get the moisture as well. When I bite in the tomato, what comes out? Moisture. I get the moisture
We
as
need
well.
sauce for that one.
Huh?
We need sauce for that one. Juice.
Juice.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
When you bite into tomato, it's the juice that comes
Well,
out.
you get that moisture, you get the sweetness, you get the texture,
Yeah.
and you also get, guess what's not in the sauce? The antioxidants. You get the flavonoids. You get the polyphenols. You get the anthocyanins. You get the lycopene. All of this stuff is missing from the sweet chili sauce. All of this stuff is missing from the ketchup.
You should make it sound.
So, and it's so simple. It doesn't take a lot. 4 grapes, cut them into a quarter, sprinkle it into the dish. You get sauce. uh, it's crazy. And I only discovered this recently. And you know what it was? I'll actually give credit. I know people think I must hate Eddie Abu because he loves his eggs. But I actually got that from him. I'd look at his dish and say, well, why is there blueberries? That must be weird. Fruit in a savory dish must be weird. And then I tried it and I was like, oh, actually, this is exactly the same as sweet chili sauce. Fantastic. So, yeah, slight tangent, but yeah.
Another
Um,
question.
where's the question?
What would you recommend for anxiety?
Oh, okay. I've seen anxiety come up quite a lot. Chronic anxiety is the thing again. And the amount of times I speak to people and they say, I've got neurological issues, depression, anxiety. And then I say, what does your day look like? And then they say, well, I start my day with coffee. I just can't start my day without it. And I'm saying, well, there's your culprit right there. I'm not saying coffee causes anxiety, and I'm not saying if you stop drinking coffee, all of your anxiety will go away. But you are definitely making your anxiety worse by drinking your daily coffee. And a lot of people are drinking their coffee, then they drink their cup of tea, then they drink their green tea, then they drink their black tea, 4 cups in a day. All of those have caffeine, more than 50 milligrams. All of them. So if you're dealing with anxiety and you're drinking any of those, that should be the first thing to go. And then if you then it's about supporting your adrenals. So why is anxiety a thing? Because your brain is over processing. It could be real cortisol because you have a stressful life. It could be synthetic cortisol from the caffeine. It could be heavy metals in the brain causing those brain signals to fire more aggressively than they should. It could be viral neurotoxins causing the same thing again. So when it comes to dealing with chronic anxiety, we address all those 4 triggers, and that's the process. We do actually have an anxiety kit on the website as well. So that is the stress and anxiety kit. So it's under the cognitive health kit. I'm actually really happy with how we've been able to build out our healing range now. So on the website, whether it's anxiety, whether it's a thyroid issue, whether it's a liver cleanse, kidney cleanse. I saw someone ask about kidney stones as well. I haven't got it in front of me, but we've just launched Stonebreaker to help dissolve the kidney stones. We've actually got a kidney stone kit on the website now as well. That's fine. We're going to be launching the UTI kit next week. We're going to be launching the sciatica, joint pain, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis kit next week as well. So we really are building out that healing range where you can use it as a self-service process. And if that's not working, then you can level up and get the consultation so we can really do a deep dive. Um, so yeah, that's kind of how we're looking to move things going forward. Just so you're aware, and if there, as I'm doing the lives, as I'm seeing, people asking about the persistent questions, that gets bumped up the list in terms of making a specific protocol for it. So yeah, and that's why I stay with the fibromyalgia. I could make a fibromyalgia kit, but then what about lupus? What about so many different conditions. So I think fibromyalgia and lupus are the most common, multiple sclerosis are the most common autoimmune conditions that we deal with. So I probably will make one for those. And they will be similar. It's probably just some have a slightly different, heavy metal burden. Um, some require a bit more skin support, some require a bit more nerve support. So yeah, anyway, I'm going a bit of a tangent thinking aloud, but that will be coming as well. Fibro kit would be nice. All right, noted. Thank you, Missy. So H. pylori, yeah, we have a kit for that as well. We do have a H. pylori kit and a guide that comes with it. So that is on the website. It's under the gut health part of the menu. So you can go there, pick the H. pylori variant. And as I said at the start, we've upgraded our subscription process. So we are now offering 30% off your first order. And then when you commit to your health with a minimum of 2 months, you also get 10% off that second order as well. So it's actually a lot cheaper for you guys to now get access to the healing kits as well. Arthritis, as I said, Missy, we're going to be launching a rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis kit this weekend. The work in the autism community has taken up all of our time this week. It will take up all of our time next week and probably the week after. But we'll be working nights to try and get these kits launched for you because I can see they're making such a massive difference to people. We're getting the reviews in, and it's really encouraging to see. I said rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis kit will become. Oh, are you saying you didn't hear it the first time? Never mind. Got it.
What is the best thing for hypothyroidism?
I've answered that one already. Yeah. We'll probably do three more questions if we get them in before I wrap up. Sharon from Facebook. I need a herb cleanser. I have to take a. I mean, I don't know if this one qualifies for chronic healing. I need a herb cleanser. I have to take a urine test, and I smoke marijuana. What I would say to you, Sharon, is stop smoking the marijuana. If you want to ingest marijuana for therapeutic healing purposes, take it in a different form. The smoking is what makes it bad. The burning of the plant is what makes it bad. I still wouldn't recommend it necessarily every day, unless you need it for pain management and things like that. But if you can get an edible form, oil tincture, things like that, it's going to be a much better way to consume it. If you need it for a urine test, yeah, I don't think it's right for me to advise that. I could tell you, but yeah. Yeah. So, okay. But niacin might be helpful. So, okay. So eczema, I have a few times. So eczema, I've asked a few times. I appreciate you re-asking because the chat's been firing off, so it's been hard to see everything. So eczema, that was the other kit I was going to make as well. So again, these are all autoimmune. Well, eczema is a weird one. It's kind of sometimes they call it an autoimmune condition, sometimes they don't. So with the eczema, I would say it's an Epstein-Barr issue. What's going on with the eczema is your liver is pushing out Epstein-Barr virus away from your vital organs into your lymphatic system. The virus is traveling along your nerve pathways into the dermal layer of your skin, and that is what is causing the itching and the scarring. It's that immunological stress we see so often with infants that results in autism because it causes that neurological stress as well. Slight tangent, but relevant. So when it comes to autism, that helps break down what we want to do. So we want to support our nerves, we want to support our liver, and we want to support our lymphatic system. So for that reason, spirulina is a top choice. For that reason, milk thistle is a top choice. For that reason, black seed oil is the premier option. For that reason, sea moss topically and internally is a fantastic choice as well. So that is what I would recommend for eczema. We're probably also going to launch and this is where I'm getting a bit. So guys, let me know, what do you think? Do we make an autoimmune kit, which inevitably won't cover all autoimmune conditions, or do we make the EBV kit and strep kit and bolster out the heavy metals kit, and that kind of becomes, if you've got an autoimmune condition, that's what you should be looking at, because all autoimmune conditions are caused by Epstein-Barr virus in most cases, or part of the herpetic family. I don't know. Maybe we end up doing both, but let me know. Okay. My son is autism and has PANS and PANDAS. Very challenging and aggressive. So it's interesting they've diagnosed him. I mean, you can't have all three because PANS and PANDAS is the same thing, just a different name. And then autism is commonly misdiagnosed PANS. So I doubt he has all three. It's most likely that he has one. Yeah, we've spoken about autism at the start of the session. PANS is again misdiagnosed because they'll say, or PANDAS I should say, is misdiagnosed because they will say it's strep induced. PANDAS isn't strep induced. Took myself off. Yeah, on Instagram. So yeah, PANDAS isn't strep induced, it's strep facilitated. So then you have HHV6, which then we have HHV6, which then attacks the brain and causes neurological symptoms. The HHV6 is a viral issue, which is why when you get the antibiotics following the chest infection or the ear infection or whatever the thing may be, the symptoms still persist because you still have the viral issue. So what you actually need to be on is an antiviral protocol when you have PANS or PANDAS, separate to autism. Autism, you need more neurological support. You need to understand what the metabolic drivers are, which in this case could be both because, again, autism wouldn't be the thing in this case, but the sound should be coming back now. I had a phone call come in. which is why on Instagram the sound might have gone out for a second. But it should be back as you hear me saying this. So I'm just going to continue. And now I'm seeing pause due to poor connection. So, all right, should be back now. So yeah, pandas, I'll just repeat that. Apologies. Okay, yeah. Helena, I've seen your question about high cortisol, so I'll get onto that after. But hopefully the sound is back for everyone on Instagram now. So when it comes to pandas, it's strep induced. People, can you say?
Audio's gone. Going back to leave and rejoin.
All right. Or should I do this? Can you hear me now?
It's paused. No.
No? All right. We'll be on for about 10 more minutes. So I'll just leave and rejoin on Instagram and then just a bit more Q&A. But yeah, for everyone outside of Instagram, hold on. So yeah, guys, you can just rejoin. Oh, I've come off. Oh, crap. It's quite hard to do this.
You edited it, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to go back on. Bear with me a second, guys. Okay. Right. So we're back on Instagram. We'll give people a chance to rejoin. So I'll just answer this question from Mitch. The kit to cover general autoimmune conditions and follow up to deal with specific symptoms outside. So it depends what autoimmune condition it is, because generally it's going to be a combination of the heavy metals kit and the antiviral kit. And that's going to be the best thing. In terms of the symptoms outside, it depends what those specific symptoms are. So it's hard to really say. But yeah. Thanks everyone on TikTok saying I can hear me. It was just on Instagram the sound went. So yeah. And then just whilst people are rejoining on Instagram, I'll answer the question about cortisol as well. So yeah, cortisol is with the cortisol, it is the stress and anxiety kit first and foremost. So basically, it's adrenal support. So ashwagandha would be the premier option. There are other herbs you can use. Ginkgo biloba, maca are all good options. But yeah, I'd say ashwagandha is the best thing. And then blueberries. Wild blueberries are fantastic as well. And then also, wild blueberries are fantastic as well. And then you also want to probably use brahmi as well. Would be a really good option.
Not coming up for me, that's why.
Oh, on Instagram?
Yeah. I'm just checking out people joining.
Yeah, interesting. All right, still got some issues on Instagram. Should I close it and reopen it again?
Are you getting any comments or anything?
No, it's like no one's able to join, so.
Yeah, I'll do it. You keep talking.
All right, appreciate that. Weird. All right.
I'm not around, isn't it?
Yeah. Adult acne. So yeah, I mean, adult acne, child acne, I suppose, yeah, generally people grow out of their acne. In terms of, you want to be here. Yeah, so in terms of the acne, it's very similar to the eczema, but instead of Epstein-Barr virus, it's Streptococcus that's causing the issue. You don't bother with that. It's Epstein-Barr virus instead of Streptococcus instead of Epstein-Barr virus. So it's the same protocol pretty much, but you just want to add more cayenne pepper. You want to add more sweet potato, more asparagus, more coconut as well. But the same herbs really. So black seed oil, oil of oregano, they're effective against Epstein-Barr and strep. Still licorice root, nettle leaf is also really good. Lemon balm is really good. So those are the types of things you want to be incorporating to go after that adult acne. You can also use sea moss topically as well, because the zinc is still highly effective against the acne. Okay, starting to see some people rejoin on the Instagram, although still not sure if it's. Can you see it?
It's just a black screen.
Got a couple of people, but it doesn't seem like it.
Two, but I can't see you.
Oh, it's not coming up.
It's just a black screen.
All right, if it's not working, well, it's looking like a black screen for some reason. Still doing that? Yeah, all right. We'll wrap things up then. IG still not working. Yeah, we'll wrap things up. It was due to wrap up anyway, so those are the last few questions, to be fair. So good it didn't close any earlier, I guess. So yeah, guys, I appreciate you listening. I mean, now people, I don't know. Yeah, it was more. I think people are joining now.
Oh, okay. It says 3 screen.
Can you still see me? Can you see me, or is it still black screen?
Just reopen it. I can't.
Strange. Let me try one more time because I'm going to wrap up and I'm going to rejoin the. Could you close the app and then? Oh,
Yeah.
just do it. It's fine. Sorry, guys, but blood pressure. I'll try and talk about blood pressure. So, blood pressure, we do also have a blood pressure kit as well. Again, that's one of the new ones. So, the blood pressure, again, there's many different things that can cause it. Our kit is generally going after the most common causes. If you are, it's pretty safe to use alongside amlodipine and the standard blood pressure medications. So yes, it's got the ashwagandha, it's got the brahmi, it's got the moringa, and I believe it has the black seed oil in there as well. So that's what I'd recommend for the blood pressure, which you can. Oh, okay, we're back on Instagram now. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah.
Apologies everyone on Instagram. I'm not sure what happened. I tried to go live again, but it was like it kept saying it was a black screen. So had to close the app and restart it. Apologies for everyone on TikTok that I had to bear with. So yeah, I'll Facebook and YouTube. So yeah, so I'll stay on for a few more questions. I was literally in the process of wrapping up beforehand. So hopefully everyone that was here before has been able to rejoin. But yeah, I will answer a few more questions if anyone has any. But yeah, guys, look, I mean, I'm assuming everyone who's joining now is kind of was here before as I say this. So if you've just joined expecting a full session, apologies. It will be posted to Instagram, the full session after anyway. So you'll still be able to see it. But yeah, guys, it's interesting because, you know, I didn't have any plan on what I was going to talk about today. It's just kind of just a reflection on the week in terms of what I've experienced, what I've seen. And, you know, it's taken us into lots of interesting topics. We've had lots of great contributions, lots of interesting conversations. I appreciate that, Missy. So good you'll hear it twice. Yeah, it's... But yeah, I mean, we haven't even done a giveaway today, have we? So we'll be back on the giveaways on Monday. So not to worry there. If you... I mean, no, I don't think you're in the chat anymore, so that's fine. Yeah, if anyone has any questions whilst I'm wrapping up, then get them in and I'll quickly answer them. Otherwise, I'll get to wrapping up. So yeah, guys, as I was saying, we've got lots of new kits, lots of new kits. Actually, most of the questions you guys, so yeah, the fund me there, fund me, is that fund me that we had a consultation yesterday or the day before? Let me know if it is, but yeah, anything to use if there's a history of high blood pressure in the family. As I say, we do have the blood pressure kit on the website. It's under the blood kit. So how we've kind of split it up. So yeah, just to answer your question, the ashwagandha, the brahmi, the black seed oil, and the moringa. Oh, great. Thank you for joining. It does cover the main causes of high blood pressure, you know, cortisol related, magnesium deficiency, stress, high cholesterol. It attacks all viral. It attacks all of those things. So that's why the high blood pressure kit is there, and it can be used alongside amlodipine and standard blood pressure medications. What about mystery hair loss? So mystery hair loss is a really popular one that we get. Mystery hair loss is actually caused by adrenal fatigue generally. When your adrenals are shot, that's when you start to get mystery hair loss. So really, I'd actually recommend, we do actually have a hair loss kit as well. We've got so many kits now. But that is more about the strengthening of the hair itself. So that's got butterfly blue tea, that's got batana butter, that's got the black seed oil and the sea moss. So you can actually use the butterfly blue tea as a hair wash as well. You can use the sea moss as a hair mask. You can use the batana butter as a treatment. And then the black seed oil you can actually use as an oil as well. So that's more of a topical application kit. In terms of going after the core issue, I would actually say the stress and anxiety kit is probably going to be most helpful. If it's like I want to strengthen the quality of my hair, then yes, I'd recommend the hair restore kit. If it's more about, yeah, my hair's falling out, then you probably want the stress and anxiety kit is what I would say. But both of those are on the website. No, I appreciate you joining, Anna. I'm glad you're finding the information useful. In terms of where you can find the kits, they are all on the website. So we've actually tried to do quite a lot of work revamping the website and making it cleaner and easier for you to understand how they where they are. So split them into systems. So we've got the circularity system, the nervous system, the reproductive system. So all the different issues associated with that. We've got the kits associated, and then we also have all the kits separate. So you can see that. Fund me. So, oh nice. Can I order? Oh, read your question.
Can I order and add to my sons so they arrive together?
Yes, you can. So those are due to arrive on Tuesday. So it'll probably be dispatched on Wednesday. So if you order, let me know. So probably best way to let us know would be to email.
Inbox on the website.
Oh, okay. If you either email lee.matheson or message on the website, where either me or Jay can pick it up, and then we can combine your orders so that you're not paying double shipping. We can definitely do that. As I say, the blood pressure. So yeah, we've got so many. I'm actually just going to read them out because I never actually say what kits we have. So just so you guys can see how many new kits there are.
It's a shame you can't do share my screen.
Yeah, I think I probably could, to be fair, but it wouldn't apply for all the different platforms.
Is it not show on the iPad or?
Nah, too blurry. So it's funny, we've actually got too many kits to even scroll through now. So we have let's see. So we've got the ADHD and autism kit. That's actually the most popular kit, which surprised me. But now I've done more work in the autism space, I understand it. There is no other solution on the market. I'm not saying it is the solution for autism, but it is what I've seen as the best option to be able to support improved symptoms. And if you want to get the deeper support, you can book the consultation and we can do that as well. So there's also the anti-herpes kit. We've spoken about it extensively. When it comes to autoimmune conditions, the anti-herpes kit is going to be the best place to start. You can add spirulina to that as well to enhance the heavy metal chelation effect, because usually when you have things like fibromyalgia, lupus, Merck eczema, it's usually Epstein-Barr virus in combination with heavy metals. Fibroids the same. So yes. Then we have the autoimmune gut health kit. So that is covering celiac disease, Crohn's, IBS. It's also covering ulcerative colitis as well. So that's a new kit. We've also got the standard gut health kit. So that's more generic conditions like bloating, acid reflux, peptic ulcers. There's another one in there as well, which I always forget. And then we've got the blood cleanse kit. So that covers high cholesterol, high blood pressure, which we've had quite a few questions on. Anemia as well. It covers that. Then we have the diabetes kit. So that one specifically focuses on type 2 diabetes to bring your A1C down. Then we have the fibroids kit. We have the full fibroids guide, which is more focused on how to shrink your fibroids naturally. The herbs more focused on how to reduce bloating, improve your symptoms, reduce the bleeding, and manage your fibroids better as well. And then we have the hair restore kit, which I just discussed. We've got the heavy metal cleanse kit, which I think most people would benefit from being on. When you understand how diverse, broad, and varied heavy metals exposures are, you'll understand why you should probably be having at least one of those herbs in your daily routine for a heavy metal cleanse. Then we've got the liver cleanse kit. You know, the liver is the most important organ when it comes to healing. So the liver cleanse kit is super important for that. It's got the milk thistle, the best organ for healing the liver. Then we've got the kidney cleanse kit, which launched last week. We do need to make a whole load more content on the kidney cleansing or kidney cleansing. We did a live on Monday, I think it was, which was really good. So I'd recommend, if you've got any kidney issues, to watch that. But that kidney cleanse covers kidney stones, stage 1 and 2 kidney disease, and then a separate kit for stage 3 kidney disease as well. And then we also have the menopause mend kit, which has actually boomed in popularity in the last few weeks. We haven't done much to market it. We probably will do more. But the menopause, we'll probably do a separate session of this again, but menopause is not the cause of the issues. The hormones are not the cause of the issues. They reveal what's going on underneath the surface. So yeah, the menopause mend kit is there as well. Then we've got the cognitive health kit, which is brand new. So that covers stress and anxiety, Parkinson's disease, memory loss, and there's another one that it covers as well. I haven't opened them, that's why. So what did I say? Neuropathy as well. So if you've got any nerve issues, FND, I've heard that one come up, then that is really where the cognitive health kit comes up.
Did you say Parkinson's?
Yes, I did.
Stress and anxiety?
I did. So then we've also got the thyroid kit. Now the thyroid kit is a lot of people. Hey has just asked about hypothyroidism as well. The thyroid kit is good for hyper. We're actually going to upgrade the thyroid kit to make it specific for hyper and hypothyroidism. The reason why it's the same right now is because they're both Epstein-Barr virus, and I've written a full guide which gives you the guidance on how to use the kit depending on what your specific condition is, whether it's nodules, goiters, hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, Raynaud's syndrome, whatever the case may be, the guide is there to cover it. And then we've also got Weight Sage. So if you're looking to, lower your cholesterol, lose weight, stubborn belly fat, then that's what that kit is designed to help with. So hopefully just running through that helps you to understand what all the healing kits are, what they're designed to do, and why they're there. And then we've still got all our classic, more general kits, the Immune Booster, the Fem Sage, the Guys Detox, the Energy Edge. So not for a specific condition, but just for general support. You can also build your own bundle as well. And then, yeah, so that the reason I've gone through that is because I know it's been a little while and we've updated the website a lot since we probably last gone through it. So just to give you guys a sense of that. Spirituality, you're right. I did get cut off when I was talking about pans and pandas. So yes, good point. So pans, pandas, autism, pans and pandas are kind of the same thing with two different names of saying the same thing. You have to put a slash, so yes. Autism is a completely separate thing. All autism is the observation of neurological symptoms. So I guess by definition, pandas would also be considered autism, but the extension of adding autism to that diagnosis does nothing in terms of understanding the condition better, if that makes sense. So what is pandas? Pandas is, let's get it up. So what does pandas stand for? And I'll tell you why it's wrong. So pandas, pandas, let's just... So pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorders associated with streptococcal infections. Why is that wrong? Because, actually, you know what? It's not wrong. It is associated. It's misnamed. When you put streptococcal infections, it implies that streptococcus is the cause of the pandas. It's not. What that streptococcus does is create the pathway for the underlying viral infection, which in most cases is HHV6 or HHV7, to cause those neurological symptoms. The streptococcus is the red herring. The streptococcus is the great co-infector with the HHV6. It's not the root cause. So that's why when you take the antibiotics for that chest infection, ear infection, whatever the case may have been, you still have the neurological symptoms because antibiotics do nothing to go after viral conditions. That's why. So when you're on the medication pathway for pandas or pans, antivirals do not contribute. HHV6, even if they acknowledged it was HHV6, they would say, well, HHV6 is a herpetic virus, so there's nothing we can really do. Again, not true. We can definitely knock down herpetic viruses. We know curcumin, we know thymoquinone, we know astragalus, we know black seed oil, we know moringa, we know CMOS has all the nutrients we need to knock down the herpetic viruses. So that is what I would recommend when it comes to pandas and pans. And also, because pandas is viral, it can also cause the immunological stress, which can cause the liver to produce hepcidin to lock away iron, which can cause neurological symptoms separately. So I know that's quite complex, but this is the complexity involved with the human body, and that's why we need to understand it. So spirituality, if you want to, or Spirituality 35, if you want to book a consultation, I am here to help. If you want to work with CCNI and get access to the support, I'm not sure if it's still open to join the cohort and you can rewatch the videos that have already happened. I could put a special recommendation in for you to join it, and I'm sure that would be fine. So what I'd recommend for you to do, so just to explain what that means, I'm part of the CCNI protocol. We've got a speech and behavioral therapist as well, Deborah, who's also part of it. You also get that faith-based support as well. That costs £50 to get that 3-month support. There's a 3-hour-long Q&A sessions with me. There's 3 presentations from me talking through neurological symptoms more generally. I won't limit it to autism because they're one and the same really in terms of what's going on. And then you also get 3 sessions from Deborah as well. That costs £50, which I think is an absolute steal. And then if you want to book the one-on-one sessions with me, then you can do that. And then we can do a deep dive into your son's specific case. And then we can, there's a testing panel I recommend as well that goes off the back of that. And then we can explore the underlying conditions, what's causing that. And of course, if it's pandas, we can get that protocol in place right away. So send a message on the website inbox and we can sort you out whichever one of those pathways you want to go down. Or if you just want the herbal advice for pandas, we can do that too. So let me know and we can help you out. Hey has asked, how can I book a consultation with you? So yeah, we've updated the consultation packages on the website. So we still offer the one-off consultations. Apologies, guys. I did warn you the price was going up and that dark day has come. We're super, super, super busy, particularly with all the consultations from the work we're doing with CCNI. So that's why the prices had to go up. But I think it is a better offer now, to be honest, because before we just used to do one-off sessions. I thought the follow-up process was a bit disjointed. I thought, you get a 3-month supply of herbs and you don't really, that touch point isn't really there for you. But now we've got the one-off consultations, which are 45 minutes long and still very reasonably priced. And then we also have the 3-month plan, which is that includes 3 herbs as well. It's a proactive process. It's that one's £300. What you get with the CCNI process above and beyond that is the test interpretation results as well. And that is the same price right now through CCNI. So that's at a discount. But those are the consultation options. So, hey, if you want to book a consultation, then you can do so through the website. If you go to consultations, you'll be able to do that as well. So spirituality, hopefully that answers your question. That's actually serendipity because I actually ended up halfway up the chat and saw that. So yeah, completely forgot. So best remedy for fibroids, we do have the fibroids kit. I'm not sure if that question came in before I was talking through that. About healthy living. Yeah, the big C, is that an area of specialism? No, I wouldn't say I have enough experience dealing with it. I can give general advice. I can say, try this, don't do that. But I haven't got the caseload to say, yes, we've dealt with many different types of the big C's and we've got a competent track record of dealing with it. So I can give general advice. I can tell you what states cancer cells need to survive and thrive, and we can definitely go after that. If you're trying to get a consultation with Yaki, I wouldn't say do me instead. I would say if you can afford it and you can go with Yaki, then fantastic, and you can commit to, his protocol with the diet and the restrictive eating, then fantastic, go for it. But if you want to send an email with more specific details, then we can send you our kind of more general support package as well. Okay. I think that is everything. So, guys, that's been a really good session. I like it on a Friday because usually when we do it on a Thursday or a Wednesday or any other day, we've probably got some consultation. We've probably got a consultation within the hour of it, so we can't go into as much detail as much. So we've been able to have a really nice hour and 37-minute session today, so that's good. Queenie B, do we deal with fibroids? I mean, yes, we can support. We have a fibroids kit. Obviously, we don't do surgical removal or embolism or anything like that, but I have written a comprehensive fibroid guide to help shrink small fibroids. If they're big, significant fibroids, then surgery probably is the best option. And then you can use our fibroid kit to prevent their reoccurrence. Because time and time again, we see it all the time. I had fibroids, I had the surgery, spent 3 months recovering, and then they grew back right away. Or I went on IVF and they grew back right away. So yes, we do. I'd recommend the kit that comes with the guide, and then you can follow that. If you need more support, you can also book a consultation. Okay, so cool, just had the autism drink, fantastic. I appreciate that, Purple Green, appreciate that feedback. Glad to hear you're enjoying the herbs. Okay, so yeah, guys, just to wrap up, we have updated the consultation process. We've updated the subscription process. So we are now rewarding you for committing to your health. If you can commit to 2 months, we will give you a combined 40% off. You get 30% off your first order, 10% off your second order. We want to make it easier for you to heal yourself. That's why we do that. It works both ways. So yes, that has changed. You can subscribe. I would strongly recommend you to subscribe. But I haven't even mentioned the gifts as well. So it's not just the 30% off on the first order. You also get 10% off every order after that. You also get a free gift on the third order. You also get a free herb on the sixth order. And then you also get a free consultation with me on the ninth order. So we are very, very, very much trying to encourage you to commit to the process, because we know if you only commit for a month and you're expecting miracles in a month is only a month. You know, if you've got mystery issues, if you've got health issues that are built up over decades, in most cases, not only so much can be done in a month, right? It's not big pharma. It's not a pharmaceutical. It's not a paracetamol. We're not trying to fix the symptom. We're trying to fix the root cause. So that's why we commit. That's why we want to really incentivize you to, go on the healing journey. A healing journey is not a month. The healing journey is going to be ups and downs and lefts and rights, and we're here to support you every step of the way. And that is why when you get to that's why when you get to order 9, we give you the free consultation so that you can actually review. And if you're not seeing anything, I'm here to tell you what you can do to help. So yeah, so I just wanted to explain that for everyone. Hope everyone has a lovely weekend. Hope everyone, is it sunny this weekend? No. Oh well. Happy birthday again to Jade's mum. We'll be celebrating this weekend. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining. We'll be back on Monday, I think. Huh?
Sunny tomorrow.
Oh, it's sunny tomorrow. So everyone enjoys the weekend. Hope so. Try and get some sun in you. Try and get some vitamin D. We've been, if you're in the UK, deprived for the whole of the last 6 months, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Sun shone when we came back.
in the sunshine when we came back. So yeah, speak to you guys on Monday, and looking forward to another beautiful week. All right, thank you everyone,
Bye,
and we'll
everyone.
speak soon.